Tell me something. What do you want?
Okay, I want you to help me make it into a TV show.
Okay, so let me get this right. You want to just barge into a restaurant, dress like a fucking English Bobby, and expect someone to give you a TV show?
I don't know, yeah?
Do me a favor, leave me alone.
Please,
Valet?
please.
Yes, sir.
Please, just look at my drawings, okay?
Yeah, okay, all right, fine.
Okay, look, okay, it's X-ray cat, okay, except instead of being able to see through everything, he can only see through wood. So if there's something going on the other side, say a wooden door, okay? See the criminal?
I see the criminal, I see the door.
Okay, see through the door, see the criminal, and save the day. He saves the day, okay? Much to the dismay of the police, to the dismay of the mayor, because you know the police and the mayor, they always hate it when people take the law into their own hands in
Like
these
a
situations.
Batman.
Like a Batman, like the guardian angels. What's that called again?
Like a vigilante.
Like a vigilante!
Right,
like
right,
a vigilante!
right,
He's like a
right.
vigilante, cat. It's a cat who's a vigilante. It's a cat who is a vigilante.
I got that, Gord, okay? Listen, the drawings are pretty good, but it doesn't make any sense, okay? It's fucking stupid.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blow the Micron podcast. I'm Ryan from ColeSploitation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host Mark.
How's it going?
Pretty good. We are continuing Difficult Films Month, a month where we celebrate all of the worst films imaginable, ones that people would have a hard time sitting through. And this one for this week was your pick. Specifically, you wanted to do this one and had said that you were interested because you've been a fan of it for so long and yet recognize that it could be a difficult film. So I'll let you take over on the intro. Why'd you want to pick it? Lead us in.
So this film, like Showgirls, is a notorious film for being not a film that is thought of highly. Unlike Showgirls, the first time I saw this movie back when I was 13 years old, I didn't like it. I didn't get it. I thought it was fucking stupid and bad. Now that I'm an adult and have watched it as I'm older, I have come to appreciate what this film does and what it has to offer. And it is the lovable, terrific Tom Green's Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah, I've never seen this one before. I remember it coming out. I remember people liking it. I remember the poster artwork and everything. I remember it, being a thing, but I never saw it. I don't know that I heard too many people talking about it, even when it released. That I can remember.
I think my older sister rented it. That's how I ended up seeing it, and I know, just watching it. It was I had the same reaction to this film when I first saw it, like I did with Napoleon Dynamite. That I was like, this is fucking stupid. And 12-year-old me in 2001, 2002, whenever the hell I watched it, I did watch the Tom Green show. I thought Tom Green was funny. I thought of him singing about cancer on his balls was funny. I thought he was funny in Road Trip and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I mean, this is. I think I remember this in conjunction with something like Road Trip or Your Road Trip. The time period where these sort of raunchier, teen or even college age comedies were coming out. But again, I remember the name, the title, because I think the title really sticks out, right? The title itself. And I think they really got away with something there because I struggle to imagine you really being able to get away with naming your entire film about fingering nowadays. I think that would be really stretching it. And I think that they probably had some older person who was on the censorship committee, and they were like, no. Fingering
Yeah, they were able
means
to-
just pinpoint that person. Like Freddy got picked out of a lineup or something like that, and they were like, okay, yeah, okay, to finger. I guess I get that as a verb. You're gonna point them out, or he's the one that, or like even the middle finger, right? Because like in the film itself, like Freddy's always the one that's getting kind of the short end of the stick and disliked, and so I can see them going to the committee and being like, it's not what you think. We're saying that it's he's getting the middle finger, or he's getting fingered for the bad thing.
Hold on, I don't even think they have to have that. They just have Tom Green show up, and he's like, "This is what it means." He just dude, Tom Green thing's like, "All right, Tom, yeah, good, like, get this asshole out of here."
Right, exactly, yeah. Like we don't want to deal with him anymore. So
yeah.
Just give it to him. Again, though, I do struggle like to find that this would be like that would even fly at this point. I think that's stretching the border of where they would let you what they would let you name a film now. I don't know that it would go over very well. So I do love that. Like I said, so the film name itself, it kind of stands out. But other than that, I don't really. I didn't remember too much about it. I don't think I've ever really known what the film was even about. And I think even after you watch the movie, you're kind of left with like, I still don't really know what this movie's about. But like now I know what happens in the movie. I'm not sure what it's about, but I know what happens. But anyway, I think like this was one of the. What do you think? What do you think about that? As we start in the introduction, why do you think that this movie didn't have so much? Like a popularity with even like in 2001 we were going to be entering into high school in a few years. Why do you think that this wasn't something bigger for people like us millennials of this time period?
I think by this point that kind of 90s gross out comedy is it's on like a slight downplay. It's more sex humor, which this movie does have, but it's the main thing is like the gross out humor. And two, I think it's too smart for a teenager. Like I said, watching it when I was like 12, 13 years old, I didn't get like the jokes. Like the funny thing is like that everyone would say that did know it, like back in like middle school and high school, would be like, "Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage?" But that's it, like, and it's like, oh, what is it, but like the actual jokes of the film, flew over my head. And I think almost everyone's, I don't think any sane 15-year-old would be sitting in the theater watching this and going like, yes, they constantly say their age to show like, he's critiquing this point of like, Hollywood filmmaking and storytelling. It's like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the bits are way too over most people's heads. It's kind of like when you think about it, like with Starship Troopers, like it's like there's like even more with this film, because it's like there's a lot of people who watch Starship Troopers. It takes it for face value, and I think that's probably the same with this one, because people are like, this film's boring. They're just like not doing anything and just saying stupid shit over and over again.
I think it's funny because you're saying that this film is too smart. Knowing the content of the film, it's very interesting. Very interesting juxtaposition of it's smart, but also has this really stupid humor going on within it. So, all right. Well, I mean, I guess with that, it's hard to do an intro without just really going into the film. So let's take a break before we really dive into Tom Green's world, and let's talk about the beer that we have on the show. This time around, we were really interested in this beer because it's been promoted quite a bit. Like we've been hearing about it a lot, and it's sort of, especially in our area, this beer is quite popular in the normal variety, and so we were really interested, not only because of the type of beer that it is, but also because it is another type of apple beer. We're of course talking about the new Keystone Light apple, which is Keystone's version of the Busch Light Apple Ale. trying to jump into that market because
I'm gonna cut you off. Don't you dare ever call a Busch Bavarian beer an ale. How fucking dare you? Don't disparage ales like that.
Yeah, that's right. It's not an ale, is it? It's just a regular old lager style. I think it's interesting that Keystone was, for one thing, I think it made sense because Busch Light Apple is sort of a craze. I don't really understand it, but it's like one of those beers, at least in our area, that like when a beer store gets it in, they're like posting constantly, come and get it. We've only got 25 packs here. They're posting like it's going out of style very quickly. And
they create the FOMO. Your FOMO.
Maybe they do. Or maybe there just truly is people running in like, all right, the apple ale's out, or the apple lager's out. I keep saying apple ale, and I'm thinking of there's another. What was the other brand that did an apple, and it was an apple ale?
Red's Apple.
Okay, Red's Apple. Yeah, that's been gone for a while. But
no, they still make it. Actually,
do they?
We just don't see it. Yeah. There's a couple of places around here that still carry it because I saw like a 6-pack of it the other day. I was like, I had to I can't remember which where it was, but I wanted to did I have to blow the dust off it like I'm Indiana Jones? I found something. Next to the Not Your Father's root beer.
Yeah. I mean, I think this craze has been going for some time now. And, we've done on the show, we've done the Busch Apple. We've done the Busch Peach, which was a newer one that they did a couple years ago. And I think they came out with Busch Lime too, right? We did that probably not that long, maybe like last year. So it's been a long time coming for something like this. And so Keystone saw the money on the wall. And they're like, all right, let's go for it. So they made an apple beer too.
We've only done Keystone. We've only done one Keystone beer. We did Keystone Light all the way back at the beginning. I can't remember what the movie name is. It's that Thanksgiving movie that from
Thanksgiving.
Is that what that one is?
With the turkey, like one of our first Thanksgiving movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They drank Keystone Light in, so that's what we did. I copped out because I didn't want to spend that much, so I bought a 6-pack of Tall Boys of that. And that's probably the last time I've had a Keystone. It's been almost over a decade.
Yeah, I don't really remember having Keystone very much at all. So anyway, the Keystone Apple is new. They're trying to get into this, varietal of what I would call fruited lagers. Fruited, yes.
Like
yes. I wouldn't quite go so far as to call them like a what's the name? What's the name? That it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Gose?
No, not a gose, not a gose. The other one, I don't know. It'll come to me. I'll think about it in a few minutes, and I'll be like, that's what it was. But a radler. That's what I'm talking about. A radler.
No,
it's not a radler style.
Not
quite.
Close. No, because it's not a mix. It's not beer with that like an ample
juice with the juice within. No. I think Apple. This is pretty good. It's got an apple-y flavor to it that I think is probably something that a lot of people are going to enjoy because it has what I would consider to be a very artificially type apple flavor to it. To me, though the can is red, this almost tastes like an artificial green apple. Like you've added a Jolly Rancher to your beer is what I'm getting from this. And while I think can be tasty, I'm enjoying it. I think I prefer a more naturalized or not as over the top apple flavor or fake artificial apple flavor. But I think this is pretty good. It's solid. I think what the other thing is the apple flavor is overpowering the poor quality of Keystone Light. And so you don't necessarily get that. Like, I feel like the base beer is not really that tasty here. Like, I don't really get much of a feel for the Keystone Light's flavor. It's more just the apple is overpowering. So I think it's pretty good. I think I don't have Busch Apple here to compare it to, like, apples to apples. But I would say I think I prefer the Bush apple just slightly more. Because I remember it having less of this like artificial apple flavor. How about you? What do you think about it?
Well, I'm a little disappointed because as I'm looking at the Keystone Wikipedia page, back in 2020, they had a Keystone Light Key Lightful,
Oh.
which was a raspberry lime one. So we got screwed on that.
Yeah, no, don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had Bush Apple. I remember liking it. My biggest problem with these beers is that they come out, excuse me, in the dog days of summer. And seeing as just up until recently, it's been hotter than hoochie coochie. Apple's like not something that's on my mind. These should be paraded out for the fall where they belong. You know, going up a fire tower in the Adirondacks and looking at the nice fall foliage, your Keystone apple or Bush apple. With that being said, basically every point you had, you stole from me. It's not bad. It doesn't taste like an apple like you would think, like a red apple. It tastes like a sour green Granny Smith apple that is definitely very artificial. As you said, Jolly Rancher. Basically tastes like if you took a Keystone Light and instead of like a Mio mix, it was just pure, Jolly Rancher green apple. That's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I do like it. The price point, to be honest with you, I didn't tell you, I got a 15 pack of this. It was $15.50 after tax and deposit. So
wow, yeah,
it's not
good
a
price, right?
That's not a bad deal at all. I like it a lot. I think compared to the Bush apple, in my mind, again, I haven't had it in a couple of years. I think I like this a little more just because it does have like a bigger, or even though it's like it is definitely artificial and sweet and candied, I do kind of like that more because again, it's a light beer, and Keystone Light itself and Bush Light itself aren't good beers. So it is doing a lot of the work carrying this beer to something that's like, hey, let's pound a bunch of these while we go to the lake. So,
yeah, like I said, I'm not really getting the Keystone beer flavor like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't really. It's the apple that's really overpowering, and it's I almost feel like I'm gonna get a couple cavities from drinking these because they are so sweet and so sugary. But I feel like these are not good for people with bad teeth or diabetics.
You're gonna wake up with an extra big hangover on less beer just because it's so sugar forward.
Probably, yeah. And I will say I'm agreeing with you in that I like in the summer I am not like give me those apple beers. Like I don't really find apple to be a good summer beer. I don't quite understand why both companies have released these in the summer. The peach made more sense for the summer for Bush. But I don't really understand why they keep releasing these types of beers in the summer. One would think that they would have a much more marketability in the fall. Like, hey, it's apple picking season, and here's an apple beer too. I don't quite understand the marketing behind it. And to be honest with you, I would probably always pick a lime beer over an apple beer. But I think this is pretty solid anyway. An interesting experiment from Keystone. I'm sure we'll be seeing more in the future of them trying out these types of fruited beers. Because if history is anything to base your opinion on, I'm pretty sure they're going to do well with this apple beer, regardless of how again, for $15, you're like most people, if they're interested, are just going to be like, you know what, I'm going to grab one. I'm going to try it. So even if it was like a failed beer attempt, they probably still made out. So I can see more experiments like this in the future from them. All right.
Been a long time since I've seen a Keystone commercial.
Yeah, no.
Those are big when we were in college and just getting out of college. Keystone, you're so smooth. Which nobody really believed because at least in my college, nobody drank that shit.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into Freddy Got Fingered.
Tom Green's.
Tom Cruise. Directed by Tom Green, at least. Written by him and Derek Harvey, who I did take a look at and has not really done much since then. Mostly a producer.
He was on the Tom Green show, I believe.
Yeah. So just a friend and fellow writer on the Tom Green show. Now, again, you mentioned the Tom Green show. I have seen bits and pieces of it, but I wasn't an avid watcher of it by any means at that time. I recall a lot of things, like I remember the testicular cancer surgery and things like that, but there was never a time where I would like sit down and, hey, I'm going to watch the Tom Green show.
I wasn't sitting down to watch it. It was on at like 11 at night. So
yeah, you're just kind of
laying in bed watching it. Like, feel your balls. So
I've definitely seen clips and such, but not something. But I feel like, going into this, I feel like there was probably a specific audience for something like Freddy Got Fingered at this time. And it wasn't us. Let's be honest. We were younger at this time. I can see a more, 16, 17, 18-year-old audience in 2001, seeing a Tom Green film and being really interested in it, based on their interest already in the Tom Green show. Tom Green, is a very, I would say, you either like him or you don't like him, and you really don't like him if you don't like him, right? There's no real in between. You're not just like, I could take him or leave him. You either enjoy the comedy, you think it's funny, or you think it's really obnoxious. And I don't, and Freddy Got Fingered is no different. I feel like going into the movie, you're going to see it because you like Tom Green, or if you're like an unwitting passersby who someone says, hey, I got Freddy Got Fingered on VHS. Do you guys want to watch this? And you're subjected to it. You might be kind of pissed off at the end of the movie. Like, what the fuck was that? Why would you bring that over here? Something like that. I can see, being very, very
polarizing,
very much dissenting. Yeah. With the type of comedy that it has. So I guess, from my perspective, the one thing that I was super surprised about starting off the movie was to see Rip Torn here. Because I did not realize that he was in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Rip Torn. I've always loved Rip Torn. First of all, how can you not love a man whose name is Rip Torn? It's great. Again, the inherent comedy in, your stage name being Rip Torn is great. Again, that's just, you're already going to like someone like that. So I was really happy to see Rip Torn here. And so that really stuck out to me. And I think like even from the beginning of the movie, he's really a gem here. You get a very specific feel for who Rip Torn is going to be playing in this movie right from the beginning. I know one of your favorite parts at the beginning is just that whole introduction to Tom Green's character, Gord, and he's getting the LeBaron. And basically there's just a back and forth about the LeBaron where everybody just keeps saying it's a LeBaron. And I think the idea here is not just that it's funny to have them keep saying LeBaron, but I feel like Tom Green specifically wrote a scene so that they would give him license to get a LeBaron.
Somebody got him like a 1994 LeBaron.
Exactly. It was more so a means to an end to get the LeBaron in the movie, because that is
an excuse just for him to buy it, and like
exactly.
Well, okay, you're missing a lot here. So first off, props to this film. It starts off in the most 90s way possible. He's skateboarding around a fucking mall,
That is very true. I didn't realize Tom Green was such a avid skateboarder.
With a punk, the punk soundtrack, and like the Freddy Got Fingered, and you got the kid, like, as he's leaving his house to skate down to the mall, and he's like, bye, Gord, be successful. And then he's doing that, and then, like, the security guards are chasing him, and he's doing all those sick moves, and then he gets to the end, and he slams right into the fucking door, because it's pull. You can see on the side, it says, pull, not put, and so for his side. And then he's skating through the bus lot, and he's getting ready to go on the bus to go to Hollywood. He's going to go to LA to the cheese sandwich factory. And, because this is something that would be in a movie, like where like you're packed up.
Yeah,
Well, got my tickets on for the Greyhound. But wait, you're not getting on that bus, son. What do you mean? We bought you a LeBaron. I don't know how much Greyhound tickets were costing in the 90s, but from Portland to Hollywood. But you spent the money like this, Rip Torn and Julie Haggerty playing Julie Haggerty, just. And now, like, no, we got you a LeBaron so you can have, it's an investment. It's hilarious because the whole thing, too, this is how, like, again, like this kind, at least for me, again, it's hilarious now watching it the first time as a young, dumb ass child, not getting the jokes. But he's like, I'm about to get on the bus to go to Hollywood. That's right, son. You're going to go on that bus to go to Hollywood. That's right. I got a job. But, son, you're not going on that bus. What do you mean I'm not going on that bus? We got you something. What did you get me? We got you this LeBaron. It's a LeBaron. Like, that's like, from that moment on, that's the film.
Yeah.
It's taking the stereotypes and cliches of Hollywood in general, and instead of, being like, having like this beautiful reasoning behind it, it's literally taking it and openly just being like, this is what we're doing. And I think it works really well because, again, like, I'm not like saying I'm the biggest Tom Green fan, but I think with his antics and style, like, that's how you get away with, like, this is a fancy restaurant, so so like, it's hilarious. And that whole bit with, him and, Finch sitting there like, hey, where's my LeBaron? See, Freddy? It says there's plates on. This is number one son. I'm the number one son. Mom, what about me? Oh, we love you too. You're the number one son. Like, it's just so fucking good. It's so hilarious. And if you aren't rolling over laughing from that first 5 minutes, you're not gonna probably enjoy the film.
Right.
Like, because that's the film going. Because that's the film going forward.
And I think another funny thing about that opening is that the way that it starts, like you said, with the sort of the skateboarding, like, it almost looks like it's going to be a teen comedy, right? Like, Tom Green should be like a 17-year-old student who is going off to college, because that's generally how these types of films started. Like, oh, I'm going off to college, making my way in the world, just graduated. And you find out he's like 28 years old. It's a great, like, reversal because, again, you would expect them going off to college, but no, he's going off to work at a cheese factory because he's 28 years old, still living with his parents.
No.
Cheese sandwich factory.
It's a cheese sandwich factory.
It's
God,
great.
don't fucking...
It's great.
Don't step on the joke and ruin it, you ass.
It's great. I love that idea of... Again, the one thing that I think is really unique about Freddy Got Fingered in terms of how stupid it is, and generally, there's a line between just a stupid comedy that is, overtly just stupid, and it just has, very immature jokes. Is the difference with Freddy Got Fingered is the jokes seem really stupid and immature, but they actually have a nuance to them that you really can take into consideration when you think about the joke itself. Like, it's not just a really dumb, raunchy joke. There is generally a more nuanced tone to it that you can glean from it. And I like that. I think that works really well in this movie. That it probably is often overlooked because people are just more concerned with the subject matter or the offensiveness or whatever it is that they're not enjoying about the comedy.
I think too, because the film to me, like, is if you're able to kind of because it is kind of like compartmentalize it into, like, it's like a sketch comedy, because scene has a feel of like being like a sketch comedy show, because you got the LeBaron part, drives off, and then he's in the woods and he's driving down to Hollywood, and just for no reason, he sees a horse getting a boner, and he hops out of the LeBaron and runs over and starts jacking the horse off. He's like, look at me, I'm a horsey farmer, I'm on the farm. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? Nothing.
Right.
It's just it's just Gen X style, like gross out humor amped up. But that's what like the film is, because it goes from like that kind of scene to like then bam like that, and it's like then back to another scene and bam something like that. It's a nice whiplash. It's a whiplash. Like
I agree
to show the juxtaposition of like here's our Tennessee Williams style play that we're doing, and then bam, gross out humor.
I think that happens, quite a bit. It may, even less so at the beginning of the film. Like the beginning of the film is actually trying fairly hard to set up a through line to the rest of the movie, right? So like, because you get him going to the cheese sandwich factory, and you see him working there for a little bit, and you see him sketching his scenes that he's working on for, what he wants to do when he gets to LA. He wants to basically option all of his sketches and get a show going. And so I think, the film is working pretty hard to actually set something up, with Tom Green actively working against himself here by consistently breaking into that storyline to give you very random shit that's happening, every now and then. And like you said, you have those scenes, you have him like putting on a dead deer carcass and, dancing around in the road.
After Anthony Michael Hall's character that, is the guy, the CEO of Radioactive and, cartoons. Dave Davidson, great name. He's like, you got to get inside the characters. You don't understand them. And he's like,
you got to get inside the animal.
Like, because that whole thing is fucking hilarious. Because when he gets into Radioactive cartoons, one, great cameo here by Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
She's fucking hilarious.
She was married to him at this time.
At the time, yeah, and dating him. So, but I mean, it's funny because, because Tom Green's like running through like there, and the security is so great because they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I have a bag. And what? And I have a bag. Just, Japanese four, and goes up. And when he's up there and he's looking for Dave Davidson, Anthony Michael Hall, Drew Barrymore's the one that runs into him, and she's like, why are you here? I'm like, I need to see David, the guy that sees the show. Well, he's at a restaurant. What do you need to see him for? His wife died. I'm like, she's like, oh my God, Linda?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, she's dead. Horrible car accident. She's like, who are you? And he's like, well, I'm the coroner. I'm an officer. I was there. Gruesome.
I think this kind of leads into this idea that I think is really funny about Tom Green's, at least, what he's doing in this movie, is that it's not enough that in the film, he's kind of an idiot and he has these dumb ideas, right? Like, so dumb ideas are one thing, but he's constantly doubling down on the most ridiculous elements of his ideas. Because there's always these opportunities for him to not go in this ridiculous, outlandish direction. And yet he turns all of these, elements into the most, 100% ridiculous element that it can possibly be. So like you said, he doesn't have to say he's looking for him because his wife is dead, but he does. And he elevates the event to such a height that there's nowhere to go. And
it's also funny too, because it works again, like in a movie, it's like, how do I get past this? And you come up with like some Ferris Bueller bullshit, and right, like in the hero's like, yeah, wasn't I so smart thinking of that? And here, like you said, he's taking it, to 11 and just like, oh, what kind of excuse do I have? Oh, she died, she's dead. And
yeah, I think that's like one of the funniest things about the movie for me, is that, it could have been just a regular scenario where it's like, oh, that's awkward. But no, like every scene, Gord has to make it excessively awkward, the most awkward that it can possibly be, because he always has to go to extremes. And that's really funny here, like you said, with the coroner thing, when It's really funny when all of a sudden he shows up as like an English Bobby in because he's carrying this ridiculous.
Are you
Dean
Dave
Moore.
Davidson? No. Are you Dave Davidson? No. Are you Davidson? I'm a woman. I didn't ask you your sex. I asked you your name. No, I'm Crystal. Okay.
That's great. That's very forward thinking of him. For I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your name is. It's great. I think again those parts. You know what I will have to commend too is I feel like Anthony Michael Hall's character is actually a pretty nice dude for being like this kind of asshole in LA type character. Cause he like hears him out. He's like, all right, I'll take a look at these fucking things, and he gives him pointed commentary. And like,
of course he's the asshole. That Caesar bleached haircut that he has, like,
like you
trying out for Gladiator.
I'm actually surprised, how well he takes this, weird ass cartoon that, Gord gives him. And it actually gives, pretty good criticism of it and a reflection on it. And, you would expect someone to just be like, I'm not looking at those, throw them away. But here he's very pointed with Gord and says, you got talent. I don't know what the fuck you're on about with like this whole idea of this X-ray cat that can only see through wood. He's a
vigilante. I love it too, because also, as you mentioned, like especially noticing now Tom Green's fucking accent, Canadian accent.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
He's shattering it out. He's shattering out because like Anthony Michael Hall is like, yeah, he's a vigilante, and
yes.
Tom Green's like, yes, a vigilante.
He's a vigilante. Yes, I love it. Yeah, like Tom, I'm obsessed with the dialogue delivery that Tom Green has in this movie. I think in some ways he's doing it on purpose to like really exaggerate but I love how he delivers some of those things. It's just hilarious. It makes it even funnier because it has this very specific Canadian accent that comes out.
It's also that whole scene's also funny too because after he gets rejected, he pulls a gun out and puts it in his mouth. And he's like, "Just blow my brains out." And he's like, "No, don't do that. You gotta get to know the characters. You gotta get to know them, and like then come back." And after years of working hard, it doesn't. Then you can blow your brains out. He's like, oh, okay. Like, it's just so funny because it's like just so cartoony too. Just like him, and nobody like around. It's like he's got a gun. He just like pulls it out and puts it in his mouth. And oh god, so fucking.
I think that kind of leads us to like after he meets Betty from the hospital. His love interest in this movie, played by Marissa Coughlan. And I think this is one of my favorite parts. It's so small, it's so mundane, and not really that intricate in the scheme of the film. But I'm really a sucker for these kinds of weird comedy bits. And I love the fact that Betty is obsessed with just flipping creamer. It's such a weird fucking idea that I love. I think it's hilarious. The funniest thing...
I got 7. What?
Yes. The funniest thing is after he meets her and he goes to her apartment for a date and she just greets him at the door and is like, I've got 4 in a row. And he's like, what? And she's like, 4 flips. I've got 4 creamer flips in a row because she's still been doing it the whole time. I think that's super funny. Like, it's just such a weird...
It's supposed to be like, like the love interest in like a rom-com's got like a quirky, like, type, and...
it's just so weird and off the wall. I think it's again, like, it's such a small thing in the scheme of the movie, but it's one of my favorite parts is just this obsession with trying to flip creamer is married to this. And not only, it's not like a bottle or anything. It's just a bottle, like a cap of creamer that she's flipping.
And I like too because the film is like the movie. It's like it says on it, like just creamer.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that creamer is by design probably always flips on its right side because of the way that it's the liquid is dispersed in it. I feel like so it's even funnier. It's just like so ridiculous. I was gonna say it is a good point.
You did miss though. One, the weight of this film is carried by the great thespian and Harland Williams.
Yep.
And the whole skateboarding scene with the ramp Holy shit! That freaked me out when I was a kid
Oh, I'm
because
sure
I
it did.
just recently snapped my leg in half on my bike, and I skateboard and stuff too. So watching Harlan leg snap in half, that was really brutal for me as a kid, and as Tom Green licking it. But that whole thing is so funny too because after because Gord comes back and Rip Torn's on his ass now, and he's like, "When are you gonna get a job? You need a job." And then Freddy shows up. He's like, "Yes, I have a job, and I learned that from you, Dad, with your work ethic. Job, work." Fucking hilarious. And then they're outside, and he's like, Gord's working on his half pipe, and Harlan Williams is like, "What? You're being too loud. You're being too loud. You gotta be quiet." "Oh yes, I should use my nail gun instead, so it's not as loud." "Come on, let's skate it. We just finished this ramp that we've been working on for so long." "Well, I can't because I'm a bank teller and I have my job tomorrow and we got jobs and I got to get a job." And, Rip Torn's yelling out at them from the window, "Shut the fuck up." Everyone's trying to sleep. And as they start skating the ramp and Harlan breaks his fucking leg on it and makes me burst out laughing every time. Is Rip Torn just comes flying out the window. He's like, "Hey, you faggot!" And throws the skateboard and it hits him in the leg. He's like, "Try to sleep!" Throws it, and Tom Green's like, "Dude, he really hurt himself." He's like, "Oh, what?" It's just so fucking funny.
I do love it. Yeah.
It's just so great. Because I said, we were talking about Rip Torn. It's just so fucking good. And then the same thing too with the hospital scene. Because when they're at the hospital, when he meets, Betty there, he finds out that she's paraplegic in a wheelchair, and fucking Harlan Williams is in a room with 5 other people. One of them's pregnant, and she's just like, "I'm pregnant. Be quiet. I'm pregnant. Be quiet." And then Harlan Williams is like, "Oh, that girl you like? She's paraplegic. Yo, you don't like handicapped people?" It's just so fucking hilarious. It's just
I do. I mean, I think they do a really good job with that. Again, I think this film is kind of its time as well. So you have to kind of roll with some of the more offensive elements of the the jokes that they have in here. The R word is thrown around quite a bit. But I think that it's everything again is kind of treated the same. There's no real line that will be drawn within this movie. And I think one of the funny things about how the film is played off is that almost everybody in this movie acts like they have some sort of brain damage, right?
Oh yeah.
I think Freddy is probably the only one that's sort of played straight, about as straight-laced, maybe even Julie to some extent. But almost everybody else has some sort of brain damage in this movie, and is sort of treated as the natural reality of the world that they live in. Is that almost everyone has brain damage here, and it's fine. I was gonna say the whole too, when Gore's at Betty's apartment, and "I like rockets," and he's like, "Have you got to work?" And she's like, "No, I haven't." And he's like, "Well, aren't you just a big dummy? Don't you feel like a big stupid person?" And she's like, "No, I'm not gonna get the first try." He's like, "Oh, never thought of it like that." Yeah,
it was just really,
But I would say, I find it really interesting that the theme of the movie, this idea of the title, "Freddy Got Fingered," doesn't occur until 50 minutes into the movie. At least 50 minutes into the movie, of this whole idea that after Gord loses, he ditches his job at the cheese sandwich factory, comes back home, tells his dad that he's going to get a job, and he doesn't end up getting that job, and his dad's really pissed off about it. He eventually just randomly tells everybody that, "Oh, you know what? My dad's been fingering Freddy." And that's when, that's that one encounter is where the movie's title comes from. And it's really not even a major plot point in the movie, to be honest with you. It's not like it's something that carries on throughout. The movie transitions multiple times after that it's just sort of the impetus of that moment that sort of sets it on its way to the end of the film. And I find that really strange and interesting how it kind of subverts that expectation of like, this will be the major plot point in the movie, and it's really not at all.
Well, not only that, though, it's funny, too, because then afterwards, like that therapy session, the social worker and the cop show up to the house, and they're like, hello, we're looking for Freddy. And he's like, yeah, I'm Freddy. And she's like,
Yeah, they're looking for little Freddy, though,
Freddy.
too.
And she's
They're looking for little
like,
Freddy.
oh, it's okay. Like, you can't be hurt now. We know what you didn't like. Like, it's hilarious. And then, like, we got come with us, son. And he's like, but I'm 25. My dad didn't finger me. My dad didn't finger me. And he gets sent to like a home, and like,
And the film really never deals with it again. Like, it's just kind of like, yeah,
he's
whatever.
just stuck in a home
He's
now.
stuck
Yeah,
in a home watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre on TV. Yeah, it's, like, I love that. I will say that I think the second half of the movie becomes a bit too erratic at times. It really jumps, and this is where it really seems like the movie studio gave Tom Green money. Tom Green is going to blow it, and he sort of is doing this sort of meta-textual thing at the end of the film where he's basically being the same as his character. You know, his character gets $1 million from Dave Davidson because he loves his dad storming in and being a character, and he has like these zebra centaurs that he's created for characters that are basically himself and his dad.
The best part of that whole scene is when Rip Torn pushes Drew Barrymore out of the way into like the radioactive bins. He's like, get out of the way, you fat bitch. And just like, you know, because he's on a rampage. They put it in slow-mo, like, you know, but it's so good. It's just so funny.
I think like that whole idea of this sort of metatextual where he gets $1 million and he blows it on stupid shit is sort of the same idea of Tom Green making this movie. It's almost, it's a mirror image of them, of somebody giving you a lot of money for something that you've really, you've wanted to do for yourself and the artistic merit to do it. And you blow it on a bunch of stuff, a bunch of stupid stuff. Like, so Tom Green blows it on a helicopter, a ridiculous helicopter ride throughout this whole movie of them, just
jewels,
no reason.
His fake jewels, like
yeah, no reason. A joyride in a helicopter, touching down on a rooftop, which I find even funnier because he makes Betty go up to the rooftop in her wheelchair. It's like it's even funnier when you really stop and think about it. But I kind of like, though I think that Freddy Got Fingered is really stupid and inane at heart. Like it is almost like we've said off air. You've said a little bit. It's a sort of an anti-comedy in that it is almost doing intentionally not dealing with what you would consider to be like thematic resonance in the movie. I do think at a certain point, it does have a really interesting point about, seeking out your own artistic, force and going for it, and sort of the meta commentary of him being in the same situation of like, people gave me money to do stupid shit. Of course I'm going to do that. Like, again, that's the kind of the whole point of Freddy Got Fingered. I like that metatextualness. I think when you really stop and think about it, like you said, it is a lot smarter than it really comes off on the surface. It's doing things that when you stop and think about, they are both funny, but also, sort of thematically interesting.
Yeah, like the whole, like you said, with the whole, like the helicopter thing is stupid, doesn't make any sense. But again, in like a romantic comedy, when it's like, I gotta win her back,
right?
Like that's something you would see, like
the grandiose gesture.
Yeah. So like, it's just funny too, and the fact too that like they're not like, I love you. She's just like, I just want to suck your dick.
Yeah,
it's it's so, instead of saying like I love you, she's like, I just want to suck your dick because she's paraplegic. She doesn't want to.
And sort of that's the whole running joke throughout as well.
Yeah, it's like,
this is the second date. This is like 200% dick sucking to date ratio. Like, we need to get this back down to a normal average. It's great because, again, it's sort of the opposite of what a normal man would think about. It's it's very
Yeah.
funny. But I mean, I like that a lot. I think that it's a really funny transition. I will say that I do think that the film's second half is more a lot more of a random collage, a random assortment of sketches, like you said, than the first half is. The first half at least tries to cement this idea, this storyline. The second half really runs wild after it sort of sets up this whole idea of Rip Torn's character being angry at Gord, and it kind of goes off the rails a little bit.
Julie Haggerty's out there sleeping with men.
Yeah, with Shaq. Yeah, yeah.
The thing, it's not only that's not the weirdest thing. He works at a place called Submarine Supreme, and they're just making cheese sandwiches. And not only that, those different cheeses are just sitting out in the open like that.
Yeah, and he's only packing the sandwich with fucking orange American cheese.
I do love that too. Like cheese sandwich experience wanted, and he's like, "I got this."
Yeah,
it's so just like fun. There's like. That's the same thing too. Like the whole cheese sandwich thing, the factory in the beginning was just making me think of like Laverne and Shirley, or I Love Lucy. Like, oh, here's an absurd job that I have to go and work at. The cheese sandwich factory. Like, imagine it's just so ridiculous and just so lovable.
Yeah. And what do you think about shipping Rip Torn off to Pakistan at the end?
One. It's funny as shit because it's literally tied to a throwaway line. Like after Rip Torn's really halfway through the film getting pissed off at Gord not getting a job and being able to keep a job. He's like, if you were in Pakistan, you would have had a job sewing soccer balls when you were 4 years old. So it's just really weird. It's absurd and the whole elephant jerking off and commenting on all of that and onto Rip Torn. It's that part's really a little long in the tooth and stuff. But the circling back to that one fucking line that is really funny that I don't think a lot of people would stick in their head, put a pin in it, is pretty funny. But
yeah, I agree. I think it's it's weird. It gets Rip Torn to say Pakistan. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's just a really weird, and again, it's sort of like that reversal of your normal when they make up, right? Like when they, it's not they're literally covered in elephant cum as well. Like when they're having that conversation. So it's this really weird, gross out reversal of that idea of the resolution in a movie like this.
And not only that, too, when you were talking about the whole wasting money on a film and stuff, again, that's part the joke that leads up to that, that scene. Because when to get back at his dad, he has this construction company be able to move up and pack the house away, and as they're doing it, he's like, the guy's like, you'd just be better off carrying the house down. It'd be a hell of a lot cheaper. And he's like, no. I have $750,000 now. I spent $100,000 on a plane and $150,000 on jewels, and now this is all I have left. And I want to do this. And it's just real funny because it's like, what's he gonna do? And so
yeah, it's really weird and funny. And what do you think about seeing Rip Torn's ass in this movie?
Great. It's funny too, because also that's the scene where it's his wife, is Julie Haggerty's it's a misunderstanding, seeing something out of context. And it's funny too, because Rip Torn's said because when they're at the therapist and he says Freddy got fingered, and she's like, no, you touched him, and he's like, no, I didn't. What are you, fucking crazy? I never did anything like that. And so Rip Torn gets, drunk and goes down to the basement, and he's like, yeah, I figured my, Freddy, why don't you fuck me? Come and fuck me, Gord. Fuck me. He pulls his pants down, his bare ass is just hanging out, and then Julie Haggerty comes and sees him, but come on, Gord, fuck me.
There's the whole teacup dropping scene. Just kind of over. Again, it's sort of like a satire on the over the top family dramas and stuff like that. Yeah, it's hilarious, and again, it leads to Rip Torn having to say later on in the movie, he's like, "Whatever you heard, that was out of context. It wasn't what you thought it was." It's so great because again, it's another one of those things where it's like the escalation of the joke is so over the top. Like this should. In reality, no. Would that ever have happened? No. But because Rip Torn is such a exaggerated character in this, yes, now he has to worry about it because, it went over way too over the top. And it's great. I love it. What else? What else did we talk about that you wanted to cover?
I loved it when he called Gord's skateboard a wheelie board.
Wheelie board, yeah.
He's like, that goddamn wheelie board.
Rip Torn's great.
This movie is the Rip Torn movie.
Yeah.
It's like he's just, I'm not saying because again, everyone does a really good job in this, but Rip Torn is putting in so much extra work into this thing, and it just makes it so, I don't know what direction Tom Green gave him, or if he was just just be you, Rip.
Yeah, again, we talked about this off air, but it was rumored that Jerry Stiller was offered the role, and I am curious what a Jerry Stiller type movie would be like with this, because I do think he could do a good job on it too.
But can you see him pulling his pants down, having his ass out? That's the question.
That's true. I don't know that I could. Yeah, you're right. I don't know that I could see that particular dynamic.
Because I was say, because at times you could see oh yeah, Costanza's dad, flying off the handle, and it's But I think that role was written for Rip Torn, and it's just so good and so funny. Like I said, there is a lot of gross out humor that we didn't cover. But again, it's the mix. And I think too, especially if you didn't if you originally watched this and you didn't find it interesting or funny at all or anything, it's probably that's what you walk away most with, because it's over the top shock, Gen X style humor. Whereas, and again, in the long run, what makes this film stand the test of time is its satire, parody, and anti-comedy of just being so stupid it turns to be smart. Again, the whole plot of this movie is we're just gonna parody Hollywood storytelling cliches and styles and jokes and stuff, and do it in the blandest way possible with with shock humor.
Yeah.
So again, you're either gonna get it or you're not.
Yeah. No. Yeah, for sure. Anything else that we missed?
No, I think that covers it.
Yeah. I think we tackled most of the things, and without running down every single joke and ruining everything for the listener.
I could gladly do.
You could do it.
I would gladly do it because
Yeah.
Well, there's no spoil. This film's 25 years old.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're actually in the 25th anniversary of this movie, so
I need a director. I need a 4-hour cut of this film.
That's true.
It's just LeBaron.
All right, so on a scale of actually, you know what? Before we do the scale, let's talk about, do you find this to be a difficult film?
No, I don't. I think, again, I'm the one that suggested, I think it's funny. I think it's something you should watch because of its notoriety and to see whether or not you like it or not. I think, again, when we were doing Showgirls, I can understand why it wasn't enjoyed or thought highly of it at the time, because, again, it just is kind of ahead of its time on its style and what it was offering. So I personally did not find this film to be difficult at all, especially at a brisk 127 minutes. I mean, 87 minutes.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't find it to be difficult. I think that I can understand why some people would find it that way or would not like this movie. I don't think it's for everybody. I certainly, there are people that I definitely wouldn't recommend it to. But I think that it is really funny at what it does. And if you like this type of humor, I think there's a lot to enjoy about it. So I wouldn't call it difficult. I don't really think that it's a bad movie. However, I can understand that it's not for everyone. And some people would probably think that it is not very good. Again, I think too, Tom Green does a serviceable job directing this movie. It has pretty much all of the tropes that you would expect for direction. It's not like he's doing anything very creative with the direction, but it's serviceable for sure. It's a well put together movie. It does have a lack of sort of a through line, and it does often feel like sketch comedy, but I think that it's still a well-made film. So
with the whole like every scene like transitioning with some kind of like upbeat music again. It's like he like for what the film is like for like yeah, you're right. It's not he's not doing Kubrick work here, but again, you don't need to because again, it kind of is. I mean, it is at least to me like a sketch comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So what he does works well enough.
Yeah.
He's not Wes Anderson. It doesn't need to be auteur work for it.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, caning of a disabled woman's legs, what would you give Freddy Got Fingered?
Or as Rip Torn would say, retarded whore.
Yes.
I give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's really funny. I think it holds up. I think it's not difficult at all. I do think, again, your mileage is going to vary on how much you can buy into the fun, what the satire is, and what they're doing. And if you can't get behind that and the wild and wacky antics, because again, the film through line as a story is, razor thin. If you can't get into that, then you're gonna not like it. I did this probably the first time in a couple of years that I have seen this film, and I still laugh out loud. I think again, Rip Torn is amazing, and he's the single reason I would say to check it out. But it's a film like. I don't think there's an in-between on it. You're either going to find it really funny or you're going to find it boring and not like it at all. So, for me, it's an 8 out of 10. It's not difficult. And it's just, I think it's, like you said, really funny. So, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I would give it an 8 out of 10 as well. I think that it is a funny film that is really unique. Like, I don't know that there is a similar type of film like this. It's kind of its own character. And I think that, again, if you like Tom Green's comedy, especially in his TV series, you probably are going to find a lot to enjoy about this. And I think if you like dumb seeming humor that is actually a little bit smarter than one would expect, this is really kind of a great showcasing of that sort of dumb, smart comedy that he has going on. And, again, of sort of this comedy where he puts himself into really awkward and sometimes gross situations, I think that it's really got a lot of like these really small, minor funniness that stands out after you've watched the movie and you go back and think about it. You can find a lot of like these small little jokes that actually hit more than you even thought they did when you were watching it. So I really liked it. I thought it was really funny. I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think that it does end right at the right time. I don't think that they can sustain this type of humor for very long. So an 87-minute film is perfect for this type of thing. Like I don't think you could go much longer without kind of losing the audience. So, but I really enjoyed it.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Any longer, and it would have probably totally lost the plot.
Yeah. All right. So that's our episode on Freddy Got Fingered. We got what? One more episode?
One more.
We got one more difficult film to go. It'll be a doozy, I'm sure. And I'm not super excited to do it, but I am interested. I'm interested to see what it's about. And we'll give a very brief clue. There have been people speed running the Scientology building, and that ties in to this movie that we're going to be doing for next week in some small way. So you can take that with, you can go try to figure out what we're talking about there.
I think you mean Kiflon, brother.
And I will give a second note in that I'm not talking about Tom Cruise. So,
thank God.
Yeah. So
I couldn't deal with that.
The movie does not have Tom Cruise. So we already did The Mummy. So that should be fun. Be our last episode for difficult films. So you'll definitely want to tune in for that. So thanks for listening. You can find us on pretty much any podcast app that you can think of. We're on Apple Podcasts or Homebase or Spotify. Whatever you use, I'm sure we're on it. So subscribe, leave us a nice review. We're on Facebook and Blue Sky. You can search for us on there, Blood and Black Rum Podcast. Give us a like or follow. We also have a email address at bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com. You can write to us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what movies you want us to watch. We'll take that into consideration. And you can donate to us on our Patreon page. Anything you donate goes back towards beer, so we appreciate that in advance. Again, thanks for listening to our episode on Freddy Got Fingered. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you back next time. Until then.
Take care.